Thank you. The next question is, how do you feel about school vouchers? There is an initiative on the ballot for November 6th. How do you feel about the voucher system that is on the ballot? We'll start with Jenny Wilson.
I oppose vouchers, strongly oppose vouchers. If people choose to send their children to private schools, they should pay for them. And I believe that though the spin is that this money will be coming out of a different fund, not the dedicated education fund. If we have funds in the general fund or elsewhere to apply to education, then let's put it towards education and not give a break to people who choose to send their children to private schools. I have great concern right now that the debate over dividing school districts and the voucher initiative will take away the attention from what I see as the two important points. We need more dollars into the school system, and we need smaller class sizes. And I think it's too bad the legislature has not been able to understand this. It's been an ongoing debate for years and years and years. Parents understand it, citizens understand it. We're all ready for some change, and we all understand we have more children in this state than anywhere in the nation. We need to fund our education system. Let's forget the other initiatives and let's focus on that.
Ralph Becker.
I am adamantly opposed to vouchers in the state of Utah. As Jenny mentioned, we badly underfund public education in the state of Utah. For us to look at taking money destined for public education and subsidize private schools when we so poorly support our public school system, I think is a travesty. I have fought it in the legislature for years. I worked on the referendum that fortunately got on the ballot through remarkable work of the citizens of this state. And I will continue to work to defeat the vouchers referendum that is before us. It is also a bad law that was passed. Even those who might consider vouchers conceptually good should take a look at this law. It was poorly drafted. It had to go to the school board and then to the Utah Supreme Court for them to finally say, we are going to put this issue on the ballot as a clear-cut decision. We have got to change what we're doing as it relates to vouchers and to public education. I've put forward an education blueprint on my website that is the first initiative I've put forward so we can look at how the city can bolster public education. Let's clear vouchers out of the way and move forward with what we need to do with education in this state.
J.P. Hughes.
I think it's a complicated issue. It's a wedge issue. I have an autistic grandson, and he's a Pingree, and I can't see for the life of me why my child, my own daughter, can't deduct some of the costs of that school as would be allowed in a voucher. For Economics was written by Stephen Levitt, and he said that going to different schools, the concept of changing schools or going to a different school does not change outcomes in education related to the individual person. And it's counterintuitive, but he does it by the numbers in the thousands in Chicago. I think a voucher idea of letting the people choose to vote is a reasonable idea. I would not fight a voucher if it's passed. I'm not sure it will pass, but I think that the public here and where it is now has gotten to the point where let them vote and let's see what they decide. But I used to be very convinced that the voucher was a great idea. After reading this book, Freakonomics, if you haven't read it, please get the book. I'm not sure it accomplishes what people think it would. But in special needs schools, something's got to be able to help these young families.
John Renteria.
I think for the obvious reasons already given as far as the opposition to the voucher system, I'm in agreement and I oppose it.
Keith Christensen.
How I feel about vouchers, well, I wish we weren't dealing with this issue in our community. I think the legislature really did hand us a kind of a bad law. You know, I watched this debate occur when the voucher bills, the two voucher bills originally were passed, and I was personally very confused. I support the public school system. My children, all three, attended public schools. I can tell you that the private schools in Salt Lake City are full without vouchers. If vouchers are going to benefit those who are already capable of sending their kids to private school, I oppose them. And I fear that that will be the result. The special needs issues ought to be dealt with differently. And the kinds of things that JP just talked about ought to be dealt with. We should be sensitive to and concerned about those who do have special needs. Young families who have needs ought to be considered. You can't mainstream every child in the public school system. So let's focus on, going forward, what to accomplish. I'm personally pleased this is on the ballot, and I expect that it will fail. It should clearly fail in Salt Lake City.